line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back here to PTM Racing TV, live here at Dover, as we're Delaware, as we're now ready to present to you the Monster Mile in the Toon Town 150 for Joe Six-Pack Racing League here on the show. It's about to get a little toony up here and a little bit of a cartoonish style here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone, and the Christian Shriver joining you tonight. And Rob Ryan Dyer, good to have you on board. I think I could say hello. Well, I'm a little bit late right now, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to get this shared around a little bit, so I apologize in advance, but let's just get down to business. Let's go ahead and share this up here real quick, and I'll get into the race. Rob Lowell in the 21 will be on the pole, Mike Killingback 76, David Lomaga on the 34, Kevin Gironi in the 8 is outside, Johnny Barker in the 6, and then Brad Yonkman in the 893. Row 3, row 4 will be Greg Joyce 64, Gene Cato will be piling up the number 13. Row 5 is John Humphrey in the 4, Al Reed in the 3. Row number 6 is going to be Kevin Duran in the 7, is outside Robert Twisky with the 28. Row number 7, well, that will be... I guess I'm going to have to kind of catch that one a little later. We'll just kind of go with the race here. To the flow, get to the green flag we go. That's right, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get down to business here. Let's get down to the field. We're going to go off the start here out of the gate. Mike Killenbeck has the early battle here for the 3rd spot here as he tries to muscle up some underdog power down at the, well, I guess you could say that Care Bear style machine there of David Lomaga in the 34. And I'm feeling a little strip weathers on that number 21 of Rob Lowell. He's got to go with the Dynaco scheme today. I like it. I like it. Got a little Dynaco in him. You can't go wrong with Dynaco. I think everybody knows this. Little Dynaco love, little Dynaco feel down on the track here. Certainly is crazy to see here and kind of cool to see as well as we start to get a little deeper into this race here. I'll show you guys a lot of the schemes here and what we got going on today here as we go along. See another one right here, the Jetson style, number 8, Kevin Jabroni, the Jabroni beaten man himself. He pilots up tonight the Chevrolet Camaro here. Al Reed also kind of coming out here. Well, at least to know it's not just an American thing. That South Park is very loved and endured around here. Al Reed from Ireland, as we've mentioned before here, he's showing a little love to the South Park creators and a little bit of that South Park world. Oh boy, look out though, right up ahead. And we've got a big problem here down on turn 2 on the back straightaway. Driver's still smacking around here trying to get out of that mess. Oh boy, things just changed in a complete heartbeat here and just completely changed on around. So field right now going to have to try to work their way back on in as we go take a look at the PTM Instant Replay. Ignore the little beeps and bobbles there. Unfortunately, we're having some live timing stuff going on right now. Here's a PTM Instant Replay brought to you in part by Greg's Lawn Garden Care. Looks like the 8 of Kevin Jabroni just kind of spun it on by there. Got the 33 unfortunately, and then everybody else trying to evade, trying to survey the scenario there, and just could not get out of it in time. Found themselves in the worst spot, in the worst area. I might be a second here, folks, trying to get the overlay back up. There we go. Think we got it? Yeah, we got it. Alright, awesome, awesome. Sorry about that again, guys. Part of the things about working with iRacing live timing, sometimes this stuff happens. So our first caution of the day here, unfortunately, is drivers will have to slow back down. It gives us at least the time to just kind of explain everything going on today. So right now, what we're doing is we are looking at a lot of schemes out here, a lot of customized cars. Here's the thing. There is going to be a competition caution in lap 60, right? Here's the thing, though. They've told me that I have to pick the winner of the car scheme. Now, I am not going to be able to pick one driver. I won't say who, because they've already kind of had their way and they already got their stuff. But I am supposed to pick out a driver that's going to get a little bit of a cash prize after this race. So I will pick that one later. I will kind of go through and show you guys everything we got, including this Rick and Morty awesome looking 28 scheme of Robert Swisku. Doug with the Marty Brown here, and with the Doug number 46 Toyota Camry, a little nice little scheme there. 46 Eli Raposa, still kind of rocking his old Lone Star colors, Lone Star World. Oh, that Scooby-Doo scheme up there. Oh man, you guys know how much of a sucker I was for that Gravedigger Kevin Harvick scheme. That Scooby-Doo scheme of Wayne Dewey, that is something right there, my friends. That's a beast. I like it. I like it a lot. It looks good. See if we get a good look at that 7 here. Kevin Durant, I think he might have got tore up a little bit on that initial hit. G.I. Joe back there in that 76. Scooby-Doo as well in that 7. Oh, there's 2 Scooby-Doos. That's tough. Joe Nelson's got a really sweet looking little G.I. Joe. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really grow up with G.I. Joe, so I had like the action figures, I just never watched the show, so my apologies in advance. I thought it was Care Bears on that scheme there for the 34, but it might be Planet something. I cannot tell from that angle here. I'll take a look at it a little later. Coming to the green flag here, we're going to go back on action. And what it comes obvious enough here, they are driving these next-gen cup cars here at Dover, which already is hard enough track to control on its own. So why not just put an even harder car to figure out how to car to race out here, and just see what the drivers can put to the table and put onto the track. I mean, if you ask me, I think that's a brilliant strategy. I love the sound of it. Coming on board here with the hashtag Go Rowdy number 6 here. Donnie Barker still rocking his little scheme down there. As the field continues to try to pace their way down, trying to stay out of problematic zones and territory right now. That Ada Kevin Gironi starting the initial problems for everybody out there, having a little bit of a situation popping up where he just kind of overdrove the corner, got himself into a bit of a bad spot. And since then, it's been kind of rocking and reeling this thing around, being a lot more controlled and a lot more conservative here. John Humphrey in the number 4. It's not old man Humphrey like they would say in Scooby-Doo. No, that's just John Humphrey. Currently representing for the back row sim racing boys. Trying to get it up there with Robert Swisker in the 28, the Ford Mustang driver. Not gonna lie, in my opinion, he's got one of the 2 best schemes out on that track. So it's between really him and that 11 Wayne Dewey. I don't know who to go with. I may need you guys to help me out here. That Rick and Morty 28 and then that 11 of Wayne Dewey, man, those things are absolutely gorgeous. I got so many old vibes to the Cartoon Network days. Like, that's just an awesome looking scheme. Alright, I gotta call a race still here as well, so don't think for 1 second I haven't forgot that. So Kevin Durant right now firing up here. Eli Raposo, remember Durant is a lap down at the moment, so he's trying to figure out how to kind of manipulate around the track, kind of get something going here for him and his crew. But the problem is again, it seems like there's only kind of like one line to really hit up and hit down and master. Usually it would be the bottom lane, I would say you want to go towards the most. Here that is just simply not the case. It seems as though driving the preferred bottom in the middle. Oh no, it's risky over down there. Trouble down the 28. Looks like a mechanical problem. Blown motor coming off and smoke out of the 28. He has got a blown motor. The transmission he's saying is gone, it's gone, it's gone. He cannot get that thing to go any further. What a tough break for Tuiscu. Unfortunately, he came out here, he was doing so well. Now he's just going to have to put it down in pit road and hope for the best when he gets that pit road stop in. Wayne Deere right now, currently the number 11, hasn't had the best of seasons, unfortunately, in that 11 machine. Although he usually rocks a little less in depth, I thought, honestly. But now it seems like he's just kind of doing his own thing, driving his own style, and that's really the way you got to do it with these kind of tracks, these kind of races. Just kind of got to not worry about the other driver and just really focus on what you're doing and make sure you do it just right. Battle for 4th right now is David Lomaga backing down a little bit. You can see him saving the tires up a little here, trying to give himself some breathing room. I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing guys going up top then back down to the bottom. Usually you see it the other way around, where they start up towards the middle or top side in the turn and then they'll drive it right down to the bottom. This time they're actually going higher up, then kind of diamonding it off down to the bottom there. Kind of an interesting little get up there. Kind of interesting to see here these drivers doing so well in this case. And the 21, Rob Lowell falls back down into the 4th here. Lomaga goes back 3rd. Killenbeck, Al Reed, they are currently the top front runners of this field and of this section here. The underdog, trying to be the not the underdog anymore, but be the top dog. He started 2nd today. Al Reed started 10th, and he's already leading this field in. And looking at our stats right now, Lomaga at 254 has the season championships pretty much in his eyesight again. But Brad Yonkman's not exactly down and out. Yeah, he is still in about 10th place position. Al Reed, as you know him, he's currently with 227 at the moment. Could be a bit of a changing of the pace, could be a changing of the guard here with the way he's been racing, the way he's been getting stronger every time out on the track. John Humphrey though is not a one you can let loose off of. 220 right now for him. Keith Fonseca at 215 the points. Johnny Barker at 212. Eli Raposa at 209. 188 for Greg Draystow and Gene Cato at 183 and 178 for Kevin Gironi to get your top 10 in out of that bunch. That is kind of a little bit of a disheartening fact, though, to know that you got drivers that are right in your spot of line, you're right in your side of the moment. It can be a bit hard to really kind of figure out where to go from there, where to kind of strengthen the numbers there. For Yonkman, he just needs to stay out of trouble and stay out of the way of issues today, that's for sure. Alright, I have no idea what the heck Yankoma's got on the front or the back of his car, so I think it's about time I go take a look for myself here. I wanted to say it was like some kind of... I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't know what he's got on that car. Just give me a camera angle on that. Cadet Police. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I remember seeing the Cadet Police 93 or anything like that around. So, if somebody remembers that TV show, feel free to call me out on it, because I'm having a hard time catching this one. It is a pretty good looking scheme, I'll give Yonkman that, but this one might not really catch my eye, unfortunately. Good scheme, but if I don't know him, I don't know him. That's kind of my hardest part. They are allowed 2 fast repairs today, though, as well, so just be aware of that. This track is a mile in length, so banking's pretty high up, higher than most tracks you would say here, but that's kind of what makes this track so interesting, is because they're kind of more shaped and built like you would see back in the very old days when they would just drive wood on the surface, or they'd have maybe like bricks. Now this is kind of the changing, the guard, the pacing that has now become the foundation of NASCAR and the foundation of stock car racing. And this place is certainly one of the places you've got to watch out for the hard racing moments. They got unlimited field of maximum instances, so they don't have to worry about that at least, but the green full courses and the lucky dogs will have to play into their factor with 2 green-white checkers. That'll help them out big time here. 150 laps on the Dover.SCO setup for qualifying or racing. Fuel amount of maxed out at 50%. They'll have a lot of work to do when it comes to figuring out their fuel run and their fuel line, especially later on when things start to get a bit more hectic, a little bit more crazy. Paul saying Inspector Gadget, KDGK 1533 saying it's Inspector Gadget. I'm sorry guys, I didn't know it was Inspector Gadget. I didn't know like who Inspector Gadget is. Like I never grew up with that TV show. I'm sorry. Alright, I did say earlier that I would have no idea what the heck David LaMaga is running, so let's take a look at his, although I can already tell you, I have to be kind of honest with you guys right now, I will not be picking his scheme just because the fact is he's already won a lot of races as it is, so, and even then, no offense to him, but I don't think I'm picking the Muppet Babies. I never grew up with the Muppet Babies, I grew up with the Muppets, so, LaMaga, sorry man, but that one's not winning me over tonight. Very interesting scheme, very cool little style, I'll give him that. Paul saying one of the best cartoons for me growing up. Really? I didn't even know that was up in that area. That's crazy. Well, I think everyone kind of knows what that 21 is supposed to represent, though. That's the Strip Weathers Dynaco, the King car, if you will. That is literally based off of the actual Plymouth that was ran in the long-running idea of Richard Petty's old days, back when he was running those Plymouth and those big winged birds, if you will. Those Dodge Chargers and all them as well, though they were something else to be had. They were something to be hidden. Of course, obviously, we cannot put the huge wing on this car, so they just kind of went with the simple scheme, kind of went with it. I mean, for the fact it's so simple, it's all right. I'm not gonna discredit it, but I'll say it right now, my top 3 without a doubt. It's that South Park number 3, that 11 of Wayne Dewey's Scooby-Doo machine, and that 28 of Rick and Morty machine, because frankly, oh well, I think Lowell didn't like my pick there. He said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? No, I'm better than that. He gave Reed a whole tag and a half there with that bumper into the fenders and the sidewall there. Apparently Reed didn't like my choice. He said, wait, no, well, hold on a minute, I thought I was getting picked here, and then he just kind of backed off and Lowell went right at him. The poor fella just got taken for a huge hit and huge lick, and a little bit of a lick on there. I think Reed needs to get that number 3 back up to him, tell him how Cartman feels, and say, respect my thoughts. Mike Killenbeck here in the Underdog machine. It's supposed to be the number 70. That does not have a scheme to it. That does have a number to it. What am I? It's got a scheme to it, yes, but it doesn't have a number to it. My apologies. I ain't gonna lie as well, I did not grow up with Underdog, to be honest with you. That was never my scheme either, so, but here's a look at that one for you. It's all damaged up too. The darn thing was all nice and pretty a little while ago. What did they do to this thing? It's very cute little design though. I will give him that. Very cool, I will say. KDGK153 saying the number 7 Scooby-Doo is the best looking car. Well, let's take a look at it here. Well, I may have agreed with it if it weren't for the fact that iRacing kind of messed something up, or they did not get the paint job right on that number. Hold on a minute. Let's take a look at this. Okay, alright, I can see why you do. It's really based off Zombie Island, one of my absolute favorite movies from the Scooby-Doo franchise. Yes, I would agree with that. But what is this problem right here? Literally, why did they move the number right onto something that's not supposed to be? You got that space there as well, man. I know that was iRacing that did that, but like, come on. You can't tell me I can't go a little bit insane thinking about that. My OCD would drive me insane if I picked that one. I'm sorry, but Duran, I will give you credit. That thing's a good-looking scheme too. It's an awesome one there. The Bottles likes the underdog. Seems to be a favorite for her too. Kevin Droney right now having a little bit of a fight out here with that 93 of Mr. Brad Yonkman. Remember, Yonkman is in the points race, so he can't exactly just be going out and try to take names and take favorites here. He's got to actually try to race these guys out. The Jetsons, though, number 8, Jeroni. Well, man, that show, I remember that one a little bit growing up. That was fun to watch. I grew up more watching on Boomerang, though, if anybody knows what that is. It's a very good-looking scheme, very classy. Let's take a look at it a little closer here. Let's look at this thing. See if we can get a look at this thing. Oh yeah. Very nice looking scheme there. Very good looking route, and I guess that is the kind of the historical times of the 80s and 90s when it came to cartoons. Awesome looking rides out here. This is good stuff to see, good stuff to really showcase. I want to take a look at that. Somebody get me a camera on that Rick and Morty scheme though. I want to look at this thing here. Alright, they gave me a camera. Look. Oh, hold on. Don't put it into the fence though. I told you not to put the camera into the fence. Thank you. Well, it's all damaged up, but I really like the look of this thing. This is sweet looking ride. Alright, very clever, Tarisku, very clever. A little bit of problem down there for Wayne doing the 11, or maybe just kind of backing off to get down into pit road. Not really sure what's going on with him. He's right below the other Scooby-Doo machine, number 7 there of Kevin Durant. Looks like he might have smacked the wall coming off one of the corners here. Might have smacked it down hard or pretty badly. We'll take a look at the PTM replay to see if we can get a look at this one. Now, kind of hard to really tell sometimes, like when the driver gets a little too aggressive, gets a little too hard on the throttle, but that's one thing, right? We got that PT Mr. Replay to go take a look at. Whatever happens, it happens here down in turn 4 or turn 1. Car looks okay here. Nothing damaged, nothing wrong. And looks like he bobbles. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Right off turn 2, you see smack stab right hard off the corner. And that car takes a huge hit and has to slow down. That's where he lost all that power and momentum. And again, there's not a lot you can do in that spot. You got to kind of really work your way around the track and find runs when you can, find some grip when you can. I don't know, guys. This one's tough. I've given my top 3. You guys seem to have your picks down there, so I got 15 laps to figure this out because I got to choose a winner here. But right now, I will say the one winner that seems to not be doing too bad is the guy literally in the top spot, the number 21, Rob Lowell, in the Dynaco 21 machine. Lowell's not exactly one you can sleep on either. He can literally come back from a field and take charge and take aim at some folks. He's done it before, and he will do it again when he can, man. He's doing a pretty good job at the moment. Keeping himself nice under control, keeping himself in a good steady pace, evened out. Not too worried about what's going on behind him, which really you can in this case. You gotta stay focused on you and only you. And now pit stops will be made here for the fuel run, as Al Reed will bring the old South Park Dream Machine down and around town. John Humphrey there, still rocking down his little Jimmy Johnson trademark scheme here of the back row sim racing machine. Trying to get that right now to Robert Tuwisku here in the 28, who is currently a lap down or so more. Tuwisku right now, he's struggling a little bit. He's got to really start the big game, take pace here, because this thing is not looking good at all for his runoff here. And smack dab off the wall yet again at turn number 4, man. He's having so many troubles here, just kind of keeping the thing on line, keeping it on target. Oh, and the 21 of Rob Lowe was going in for pit road, but he had that go right out. You saw him literally swerving that thing right off turn 4. That's because the 93 of Brad Yonkman, the Inspector Gadget, has unfortunately been robbed of the lead. He had a good lead on the drivers, and then he had a good position, and unfortunately now he lost the lead. Now he might have to figure this case out from scratch. Is that a line from Inspector Gadget, or am I just going off, you know, detective duties, guys? You let me know in the comment section below. Let's take a look at the replay. Looks like Eli Raposa. Yeah, that's one of those bad situation moments. You just don't know how to get out of it. Eli was slowing down. Yonkman was trying to slow back up and give him some breathing room, and unfortunately, the Inspector Gadget had the case gone cold. Watch this again. You can see Eli, once he gets up to that wall, it's just pretty much that was no man's land. And these cars, if I had to not remember already, these things, when you try to steer them off from that spot, even in general at Dover, it's almost impossible to steer away from that without having to literally back off and just let the car settle completely into the track. And hopefully, you don't wreck it out in that situation, that circumstance. But unfortunately, that was not the case here, so field will have to get stretched back around here, get squared on down again. That is our second caution of the day, not our first. It's only our second. So Rob Lowell now will have to select his position, select his stop here. They will have a competition caution at lap 60 still. And I'm gonna lie with you folks, I've kind of made my mind up. I think I'm gonna go with the 11 of Wayne Dewey here. Even if he doesn't win the race, I mean, I'm sorry, but that Scooby-Doo scheme, man, that thing is like my childhood times 20. I love the look of it. I love Tuwisku's 28 and like Rick and Morty, but I didn't grow up watching it as much, and it's kind of easy for me to go back to Scooby-Doo than it is Rick and Morty. So, you know what? I gotta go with the 11. I'm gonna go with Wayne Dewey as my pick in the car. So, you can give me all the hate you want in the comments section, but come on, guys, like let's just look at this thing. I mean, it's a really awesome looking scheme if you ask me. It just matches up perfectly to how I felt like the show is and how everything is. And yes, I know the number placement's all messed up. That's really because that scheme kind of got ruined thanks to iRacing. Once they did the sim stamp stuff, they kind of messed everything up. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going Wayne Dewey on this one. So the 11, congratulations, you've won your prize, my friend. I'm probably gonna have like a flood and a hotbed of comments here in a minute. Well, I guess I got a little love here. Lapano's saying 11 is nice, good pick. All right. Well, all right. It looks like I had a good pick there. All right. Usually I get a whole hotbed of comments section down below. Just kind of giving at me for that. Anyway, we ain't just here for the schemes though, guys. We still have some racing to go on here. So about 100 laps left to go here at Dover, and again, the Monster Mile. Miles the Monster. He may be a little cartoonish, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean anything he does is cartoonish. He will catch anybody that dares enter his lair. And there are over 15 drivers in his lair right now that want to defy the beast, defy the one within. Will they be able to do so? Will they be able to hold out? We'll find out here. Eli Raposo, despite that little hiccup there in turn 4, will stay on the 4th place spot. Coming right around on the back straightaway here right at the moment. Rob Lowell, really the guy that kind of surprised me a little bit so far in that Dynaco number 21, despite the rear end pretty much caved in. He's held good line, he's held good fight, and actually he made Al Reed kind of think twice about trying to put up a fight with him. Al's not exactly one to give out. You know the Fighting Irish don't exactly just quit on us like that. They'll come for you if they have to. We're going to see how far these drivers can come back though from the field. The damage on the 93 still there, not going to get fixed up. It's hell we get to that stage break, so let's get to the race back here again. Lowell with a good start here. John Humphrey getting a good little back off right out of the field here. David Lamaga just doing Lamaga things, just kind of laying back and then laying in wait. He knows when the drivers burn their tires up. He knows when the things get a little bit heated down there. He can just start to move in and attack at the right circumstance and the right times. That's exactly what he's waiting on at the moment. That's exactly what he wants to see. Reed now charging to the field, pushes up to the number 6, Johnny Barker, and the Rowdy Energy Machine getting sent back to the shadow realm a little bit. Whoa, our caution flying out though. We got problems down here. Was Johnny Barker here spun on by here on the front straightaway yet again. Another driver falls victim to, it appears, turn number 4 here. I believe Kevin Jabroni here, the Jabroni beaten man himself, ends up falls victim and futile yet again as well in this position. Let's take a look at the PTM Instant Replay and see what exactly transpired here. Presented by Greg's Lawn and Garden Care. Let's see the replay. Looks like 7 got a little closer to 6, and Barker was trying to save it, couldn't quite, and then, oh man, the 8 ran down in there. Okay, right off turn number 4, just had nowhere to go, had nowhere to get out of, and once you're stuck in that spot, it's the worst feeling in the world. Duran, unfortunately, couldn't really get anywhere out of it, neither could Gironi there. Right here, just trying to div, trying to evade, trying to get out of, and that's right there just something you just can't get out of no matter what you do as a driver. It's just one of those ugly things in racing that no matter what you do, no matter how quick you are in your reflexes, sometimes Lady Luck deals you the bad hand. And for Gironi, he got laid a bad hand. Yachman right now, I thought honestly he kind of had some damage on that front end. Actually, I think he still might. I think actually might have fixed it up. Yeah, he did fix it up. So I thought honestly that was just the whole front grille still hanging out. Actually, that is the car itself. So at least he's got that all cleaned up and done all right. For him and Eli Raposo right now, though, they're definitely going to be hopscotching through this field, kind of making their way down on the ends here. Top 5 on your screen right now here for the Toon Town 150 here at Dover International Speedway. And this is just something you're going to see a lot of today, is drivers getting a little bit too weary, get a little bit too hard on the nose, and they overcompensate, and they end up spinning those tires out. Again, that front end, it's, to me, the way this car feels like, it really feels like a dragster. Like, it just, there's no there is no like all four wheels down on the track. There's only rear and then up. There's only like rear, and then you got the front wheels just kind of like as a guider to stay straight. Once you're in the turn, you've got to literally back that throttle off to get that rear end to kick back down so it centers out a little bit with the front end. And once the front end then gets a grip of it, it allows the car to travel through the turn and rotate out perfectly. But a lot of drivers, they're so used to that 550 horsepower style. They're used to the, the way that they would handle a, let's say, like a super late model. Really, that's kind of the thing there. And Greg Drace, I guess, having a little word for say or two on that car. I'm not even gonna go there. My thoughts and prayers also with Ukraine, as well as everyone affected over there. So anyway, but just kind of look the overall thoughts here again with this car. Like I said, the steering pinion, it's very snappy, very like on the nose. As soon as you turn in, like the wheel like almost turns twice as hard compared to what it would on a late model or a street stock or a super late. So yeah, basically you need to learn two things. Number one, smoother steering. Number two, smoother throttle rhythm. The more control you have over this car, the less power you absorb, the more you can actually obtain in the long runs, and that's versus the short run. And even the short runs, still trying to muscle this thing is like impossible. You don't want to do it, nor should you do it. It's a bad omen if you try to do it. Coming right off down the corners yet again here, down off of turn number 4. Back to the action here. Let's get back down to the racing. Free flag high in the air. And for the first time today, we're going to have to see the leaders, Kevin Durrani, Devin Duran, Rob Lowell, Wayne Dewey. They're going to have to fire their way back up to the front. John Humphrey now regaining position, takes over from Brad Yonkman. Lap 60 now hit for these drivers. Coming off the ends of the turn, though, the most dominant driver that is in these next-gen Cup cars, it is the 34, David Lamaga, back in the fight, back in the fray, trying to make this thing work as good as he can for the Baby Muppets, number 34. And again, he knows now that he doesn't have to worry about that competition caution anymore. He's got to worry about one thing, and that is making sure the drivers are well keen on his style and well keen on what he's going to do here. He knows that they understand that. He can work that into this race style. He can work that into his advantage. The only downside, though, is over time, as we get further into this race, things like what you just saw the 11 do there, Wayne Dewey off turn 4, is going to happen more often than not. Greg Drace getting really aggressive there, but also had gotten pretty tight there. Sloped up just a little bit to the top side. Couldn't get away from it. Marty Brown and that Doug, number 41 machine, trying to get around him and get back in position. He's already a lap down. He's looking to put him 2 laps down. Jeff Barefoot, the 99, as well as the 76, Joe Nelson. Both drivers doing their own thing, but Joe Nelson, unfortunately, has left the building. He's calling it a day and a half already. Al Reed moving in the lead here with teammate David Lamaga right behind him. And by the way, Al Reed, our only driver to ever on PTM Racing TV win as an Irish-born citizen, and actually Irish-born Maine man. He is actually the only driver that's been able to do it. We've seen folks from Canada, Newfoundland. We've seen from the folks from all across the pond down in UK, England. We've only had one driver though from Ireland ever come on the show and win on the show. And if you can believe it too, we've actually got one Australian here that's ever won here before on the show. If you can believe it, there's some. It's a very international landscape iRacing is, man. It definitely gets a lot of stuff here. Jimmy saying hi, I just subbed. Jimmy, good to have you on board. Thank you so much for the support there. Brad Yockman now in the 93 looking to start to charge, the throttle charge, the momentum as John Humphrey kind of stays right in wake for him. Well, race fans, I think we've had our fun, we've had our time, but now let's go ahead and turn off my mic, turn off the volumes, and crank it up a little bit. Let's raise the volumes up here. Oh, yeah, just gotta love it when we crank it up a little bit and have a little fun out on the track here. Got laps winding down here, about approaching halfway marker here at the moment. Al Reed, the number 3, still your race leader, with Lomaka falling from behind as his teammate. Things starting to slow up a little bit though. Again, with these cars, you don't want to drive them too hard, go them too quickly. You gotta kind of ease into them, kind of ease the throttle out, let things kind of absorb and take control later on. For those that have tuned on in so far here today, the Pottles, Jimmy, as well as Katie KG. Thank you everybody that tuned in so far, everyone that's come on board to see some racing here from the Joe Sixpack Racing League. Keep in mind though, tonight we have one more broadcast coming your way from Pedal the Metal Racing League. We're going to present to you the FVG PC.net 80 at Chicagoland Speedway, and we cannot wait to see what goes down as the Xfinity cars will have their hands full with that ever-elusive tough to master track. So far, things starting to even and course up a little bit. Kind of playing out their own strategies, kind of doing their own little thing here right at the moment. Here, we're going to take a look at the lap times here. I want you guys to take a look at each of the drivers' lap times in position. Let's go with the top 5. Let's start with Mike Killenbeck. Just to show you guys right now, Brad Yonkman here. He was literally the guy that was on the lead here for the start of that restart here. He faltered back quite a ways here, kind of laid off for a bit. Didn't want to get into too much of a mess, get himself into too much trouble. But ever since then, he's had some moments where he can start to build it back in and kind of run the track down on his own terms. But that doesn't mean necessarily he is still in full hunt, full contention mode. You saw he had 2 gains there on Killenbeck, but I think Killenbeck really made just a little bit more of a mistake than anything. Right now, the way he's driving, I don't think he's having that situation. Look at like a lap 77. And another 5/10 difference there. So the times that were given there earlier are not the same as they were a little while ago. Now let's take a look at the teammates here. Al Reed and David Lamaga. And right here you can see pretty much pure consistency. And really a lot of it just has to do with the fact that Lamaga's not trying to make a deep dive pass on Reed right now. What he's trying to do is he's trying to stay in his draft, in his cool, in his nice fresh air, to help kind of keep the car getting some cleaner air around on the surface and on the track. Because again, they're driving a 670 horsepower V6 in that thing. The 670 V8s in them. So they've already got a lot of power under the car to where, and the way the car is designed, it helps actually kind of reduce that struggle and that problem that comes from dirty air. Because the way that wing spoiler is, the way the wing car works, rotates around, everything just falls in line and falls in place exactly the way you would want to see hard racing from drivers that should know how to drive the hardest race cars in the world. And if I'm being real with you too, I always kind of thought with those Gen 6s, when they did those 550s, those were like the easiest car to drive in the world air, whereas even on the play tracks especially. But ever since they changed it, it's been a whole other ball game. They have been a lot more fun and interesting to race. They've been a lot more fun and creative to race. They're just still very tough to figure out, but I don't know. The only thing I really just have this taste for, and I think you guys probably know what I'll say, is still it is definitely that steering pinion. I wish they'd just get that fixed already. Drivers don't seem to mind it right now, though, and I think at the end of the day, if they can work with it and they can figure it out, then I think anybody would be able to figure out and work with it, even yours truly. Anyway, feeling back down the position right now, the Jetsons, number 8, Kevin Gironi, trying to get a trap, trying to get through lap traffic here. He's got Greg racing at 64 right up ahead of him here. Brad Yonkman is in the top 5 right now. He's looking to try to take that position over from him as the fuel limits and fuel runs start to come ever so closer to the end of it. Remember, fuel runs are going to be extremely important for the long ways and long hauls because they've got literally time and a half to figure this thing in. Yonkman looking like he might have a little bit of a problem down there with the car. I think it might be slowing up a bit too much. May have burnt the tires in too hard. Inspector Gadget number 93. Though is not letting the Jetsons by him yet. Doesn't want to let him just fly into the future. Coming down around top side here, backed up the field. You see Robert Suisku in the 28 here. Still probably the second best design on the track, I'll say. In my opinion, by the way. Coming off his lap traffic issues and his problems here. Still trying to stay on the lead lap if at all possible, but he's already been passed up by everybody that is fourth on up. He is struggling to get a grip and get a full gain on this surface. Again, Dover's not exactly a track you can sneak on and sleep on here. Again, it's not very good at doing double files. It's not very hard at making the most interesting races in the world. But if you actually go and study this track, actually study kind of the overall situation that this place can bring, it can be a paradise for those that know long runs and then that know how to hold a short track line. Speeds vary, the turns definitely vary, the control of the car varies a lot. It's a very tough little track to really master. But once you do, you get it figured out. Still hear guys going into the walls here a few times. Everyone kind of getting a little bit scratched up, a little bit bent out of shape here. Again, these walls are unforgiving, though. They are unforgiving to be had, and they will not lay an inch off you later. Looking at times right now here, John Humphrey, you can see he's gaining a lot of ground on Lomaga. He's still about a second and 10th back of him, but you can see that little timestamp there as they were going around. It was starting to close the gap up, starting to really reel in the number 34. And if Humphrey can get it done, because he's known to get it done before, I think, in all honesty, he may be the favorite here long term. I think he may be the guy you got to kind of watch out for when he gets it going, when he gets that run going down that truck. Coming up right at him, Lamaga now looks like he might have overstayed his welcome, maybe overstayed the tire burning here, and may not be too aware that something's going down here. Kind of rolling in the pace, kind of rolling in the field here. Reed's trying to get something going here to stay away from Lamaga and Humphrey. I think he realized his teammate might not be much of a help here. If anything for Reed, my strategy and plan would be just point blank. Forget about the guys behind you. Forget about anyone that's even behind you or worried about dealing with. Focus on that fuel run. Figure out how long and how far you want to go, and then get into pit road when the time is necessary and when you need to for sure get in there. Because honestly, worrying about a driver behind you or looking in your mirror is just going to make your life more of a living nightmare than it is actually in a Scooby-Doo episode for those bad guys. Or if you're one of the, if you are one of the monsters that they catch around the towns all the time. Kevin Gironi right now, the Jetsons trying to hold down something of a line here to Brad Yonkman. The Inspector Go, Judge Go, 93 here. Brett Yonkman currently just had a bit of a bad time and a bit of a struggle all day long when it came to his racing ordeals. Hasn't really been able to bounce back from it yet here, and I don't think he's going to get a chance to. Not in this field and not with this kind of heated level of drivers. That's just extremely too difficult to do in my opinion. Eli Raposa in the 46, Toyota Camry. Remember, there's not very many Camry drivers out here either. There's only two of them, Raposa and Johnny Barker. And, by the way, Johnny Barker literally right behind him here in that number 6. Barker got lapped in here by the drivers here, looking maybe to stay somewhat in a decent relative spot, because at this point, with only about 50 laps remaining, that's not enough time. Unless there's a caution to come out to help kind of bolster his chances, bolster his run here. Not necessarily not a bad thing, although it looks like there's some trouble down there for Brad Yonkman. Yonkman off pace, off the control. Might have smacked the wall a little bit there on one of the exits on the entries there. We'll take a look at the PTM replay. Taking a look at it. Hard to kind of tell from this angle, kind of the situation here, but let's see if we can pop it up here down on turn number 4, I believe is where it happens. You can see the car is already having troubles. Looks like he was trying to go to pit road. Looks like he's trying to pit it down there. I think he was trying to get to pit road and end up snubbing himself down there. He's now in pit road, so that tells me a lot right there about what he was trying to do originally. But unfortunately, it did not work out in his favor or his game plan. Wow. Yeah, it's a bit of a kind of wild situation now brewing up here for him and his team. John Humphrey, who was literally just catching Lamaga left and right and giving him everything to think about, has now kind of left it. Mahal Bebin coming on board. Thank you for coming on today. And looks like Lamaga and Killenbeck deciding to go in. Al Reed's already in there as well, so they'll both head into pit road. Jeff Barefoot and then 99 deciding to just stay out for a little while. Still Kissy rocking the beer and chips machine. I'm honestly not sure what it says on that front end there. Let's take a look at it. Only BB and only BB I need beer. Oh, only BB I need is beers and sunshine. Okay, okay, I get it now. Clever, real clever, my boy. So all the leaders going to pit road here. John Humphrey now looking to try to take aim, take center stage. Race fans, when we come back, will he be able to do it? We're going to find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by the Joe Sixpack Podcast. When you guys need your league info and and all the weekly racing news and outcasts and all that, as well as hearing from some broadcasters, live designers, and all that, the Joe Sixpack Podcast is the place to be. They are the faces behind the races. And by Greg's Lawn Garden Care. Grow better with Craig, trying to help better the world around us with a brighter future for the garden. Back to the live coverage right now here. John Humphrey, Al Reed, and Eli Raposa still in their hunt, in their position. Eli decided to stay out one about a lap or two later than the both drivers here, Reed and Humphrey. Getting a little bit of position, getting a little bit of traction here. .5 laps remaining here. Al Reed getting back that race lead. David Lamaga trying to hunt down Humphrey. Humphrey right now is in a dogfight to get to Reed, and you can see why right there off turn 2. A lot of control lost under the car and under that hood there. He saw his rear end squick out just a little bit. The front end having some troubles keeping some grip. Could not hold down the field, could not hold down the fork. He's got to be careful about that. Again, you can't make mistakes like that. Not this company. This right here, these guys will not hesitate to make your life really difficult and really hard to figure out. Fast-paced top times right now, currently hitting up 173s, 172s here. Most of 172s, 73s coming from Reed, Humphrey, Lamaga, Killenbeck, and Gironi as well. Yonkman and all of them kind of lower down the 160s here. And that tells me two things right now. They're either slowing down a bit to keep maintaining pace and keep maintaining distance, or they're looking towards a more subtle, longer run than the other guys may be aware of, may understand. And once those tires start to kick out, then that long run allows them to just kind of sneak up, creep up on the low, and give this one a go. Field dictated out, and the position starting to really close up. Gaps starting to become a huge problem if you're way too far out. And Humphrey knew this. That's why he tried to play the Reed strategy here and long list this run, long lay the field out, and see if maybe he can get something going for him. Again, with Joe Nelson kind of leaving out on the field here, this kind of makes this more of a 16-car battle, but unfortunately, most of the other drivers could not figure out how to get the cars to be in a little bit more of a settled pace, a little bit more of a settled position. And that in turn ended up kind of ruining their day a little bit. More often than not, you'll see it where just a driver just gets a little too interrogated and a little too all over their top. They don't realize like where they're at or what they're going for until it's too little too late. A little bit of peak wear here today for that number 34 Lamaga. Pretty interesting little style there, I will say. To be real with you. Baby Muppets 34 here, still holding down, holding charge, looking for anything to get back to his teammate. But with a 7-second lead like that, man, that's just extremely difficult to actually fight back and come from. Because again, the way the rubber is being laid down, the way the tires are burning up and all that, you know, once that rubber gets laid down on the track, it makes the surface a little more stickier, it makes it a little slicker. Because it is starting to heat up, starting to get a little bit more temperized out here. As you can see right here with the track tech talk right at the moment. These guys are currently dealing with some pretty decent winds here at 5 miles per hour, as well as that 74-degree weather of Delaware. Which, again, even though it's partly cloudy, this track temperature is definitely not about a 74. The track temp's right about a 170 degrees plus on the gen. So that makes really all the difference. That makes really the biggest difference for this long haul, for this long race format. Pop it up with about 35 laps remaining here, still to go. Humphrey trying to hold on though. Lomaga has caught him. We found him now, caught him right back up. Alpha turn number 2. And those troubles Humphrey made earlier, those little slidey spots, a little off the center, off the pace moments, cost him dearly. And now Lomaga makes him pay for it. You just can't defy or derail what 34 will do. And apparently neither can you with the 4. Mike Gillenbeck even in the 70 starting to sneak his way back in here. You got 3 drivers right now trying to battle for second. Humphrey trying to gain the draft off of Lomaga. Draft-wise, it's going to definitely be a key factor here for them in position as well as their whole charge. On the back burner here, down on the ends, Humphrey sent straight up top side down into the field. Pretty much been a consistent pace overall. Right now you see Gironi going into pit road yet again, so it looks like his fuel run may not be as much as he thought. John Humphrey gets put back behind Mike Killenbeck. Killenbeck now starting to become from the underdog to the top dog. He's starting to make a move here. 30 laps remain. And Al Reed, your race leader from the South Park camp here down in Denver side of things. But as we've mentioned before, it doesn't matter where he's in Denver, Colorado. The only thing that matters to him is that he just gets around the track and he gets around all the places he wishes. By the way, I don't even... Do they have racing down in Denver, Colorado that's like stock car racing? I know they got plenty of other styles of racing, but down there, do they? Someone from Colorado, let me know. You guys got dirt track racing or oval or some asphalt oval racing down there? Let me know in the comment section, would you? I think my ultimate goal when the time comes and I finally leave the world of iRacing is to go visit every single track that has an actual track in the States. And yes, that includes even Alaska with that dirt track down there. Yeah, there's an actual dirt track in Alaska. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on just a second here, folks. We've got a problem. Rob Lowell comes to a screeching halt. Everything now is slowed up. What has happened to the 21? He's in pit road. There's a cloud of smoke down there. We're going to go to the PTM replay. I don't know what happened, but the 21, man, that is one of the worst breaks you guys see. From top dog to the bottom of the list. This right here is what Dover can do to you. Lowell was running an extremely good first half, but the second half may have just been completely derailed. You saw him driving it way too hard. Car got slightly loose, then it got tight. And once he jammed it right into that wall, his motor was gone. There was nothing you could do at that point. That's pretty much like the death nail once you're in that car. Watch carefully. Comes around this corner. Watch that front end just kind of slide him up. Did not grip. Clips the wall just barely. Front of the hood somewhat kind of holds it down intact, but the rest, maybe not so much. Wow. What's up right there for the 21? Rob Lowell, man, he was doing so well. Extremely conservative, extremely on the nose and on the track here for what he was gunning for and what he wanted to do. And now he's going to have to look at this race here under the 4th caution of the day if you don't include the competition, third if you don't include the competition. Now he's got to kind of look himself in the mirror and think what could have been. Al Reed gets out of pit road first here. He'll get the advantage here. David Lamonica going to get out second. Third will be, looks like, oh, well, hold on a minute. Looks like Eli Raposa could stay on out. So, but Mike Killenbeck comes out third out of that bunch, and then John Humphrey will get that 4th slot. But Eli Raposa, now he might have a different strategy here. So it looks like right now currently getting prepared for the double file up on the start here. Race fans, when we come back, we're going to get this one kicked on the road again and get back to the action. Still plenty of hard racing to come from the Joe Sixpack Racing League. Tonight's showcase of the Toon Town 150 has been brought to you in part by the Joe Sixpack Podcast. For all your weekly news updates as well as racing on the go, the Joe Sixpack Podcast brings that to you and then some. Also, they give you not just that, but they let you talk with the broadcasters, livery designers, and all the big names in the iRacing industry. The Joe Sixpack Podcast, they are the faces behind the races. And by Greg's Lawn Garden Care. We grow better with Craig. They are always out to help better the world and make a better life for those that have a hobby in gardening and then some. Here we go now. We are approaching final legs of this race here, final ends of this round. The green flag restart here. The number 3 gets the early advantage here, gets the jump out of the gate. Here comes right at it. Well, Ari may have been able to get away from Lamaga, but he couldn't get away from Ellenbeck or John Humphrey so easily. They are on a full distance sprint right now. Every single driver trying to get something up to the leader. Reed trying to stay away from him. This field right now is literally in a hot scramble, a hot distance pace. Just looking for any kind of movement, any kind of runoff they can take from these drivers. They do not want to leave out this positions. They have got to get grips. They've got to get a handle of this banked up edge of the monster mile, as they call it here in Dover. These turns will kind of send you for a loop. Remember the hill as you go down, the hill, little steep slides. You go up, top, down, right, and on the bottom. And even up, even coming off the exits here, that can be a bit of a handful. I've talked so much before about how difficult the iRacing Super Speedway can be, just because of the fact that it's very much shaped and designed as if it was a Dover International Speedway, just with Talladega and Daytona, you know, combined in with it. This place is no different. It will make you work for it all, and it'll make you send you for a few loops or two. Look at Lomaga looking for the runoff. He stuck his nose down at that 3 of Al Ray, couldn't get the move. Now here comes the back row sim racing number 4 here of John Humphrey. Old man Humphrey wants it. Oh, but there's trouble down there. Unfortunately, Mike Killenbeck is involved in a wreck here. So is Kevin Gironi. We got problems down here in turn number 2 yet again. Turn number 2, causing mischief, mayhem all day long, and just yet again it happens here on the same edge, the same lane. No one has been able to escape its madness whatsoever today. Let's take a look at the PTM instant replay. And right, oh man. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Just saving that car right there, I'll give credit where credit's due to Killenbeck. Great save. This would have been another great save if he could get it done, but this was not the case here. And him and Gironi tagged in hard. Ouch. And Barefoot, man, he got the last bit of that one, too. That's one of the worst feelings in the world, is knowing that you got a car that's spun out in front of you. The spotter's telling you, go low, go high, or whatever they want to tell you. And the only thing you can do is just literally hang onto that wheel and hope that they don't come down when you're going in or out. Watch this. Barefoot couldn't brake quick enough. He didn't know where the wreck was. He was trying to stay on throttle so he didn't ruin his momentum or his car, and instead he ended up ruining his car anyway. What a tough break there for Barefoot. He'll have to use an instant repair there, which he has done so, to get this thing fielded back into play. It may have one last chance of just staying in at least the top 15 spots, if you will. And now laps are going to start to kind of crinkle down here, especially with these cautions here, kind of making things more difficult. Race fans, again, to those that have tuned in, thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for everything you've brought to us here. If you guys haven't already, like we saw one of our new members come on board, be sure to subscribe here on our YouTube and head over to our Facebook and like and follow us up there so you never miss any of our shows or any of our information. Also, Twitter handles as well at League PTM. Check that out too. Be sure to check that so you can see also some latest info and news lines we've got. We have a little post coming up about Saturday you guys might be interested in. It's something we've never shown before, and it will conclude all 4 licensed races in this industry that we call iRacing, and it's something I've always wanted to call, but I'm not going to spoil it. You guys are just going to have to go check a look out there when we get to there. But we do appreciate the support. Also, if you want to check it out on Instagram, we have an Instagram too. Although, to be honest, I'm not really sure how many of us actually use it. I still use it here and there, so don't come at me about it. Okay, right now we're looking at 14 laps remaining in the track here, running down the field. This field right now, top 5: Al Reed, David Lamaga, John Humphrey, Brad Yonkman, and Eli Raposa. Oh, by the way, Eli Raposa, the man started 15th tonight. He was the furthest back, and right now, he is the furthest up out of this entire fleet of drivers. Al Reed comes in a close second, though. He's got 9 up on this field and 9 in position. But, is he going to be able to hold back the runs from his teammate Lamaga, much less the power of Humphrey and Yonkman? We've seen Yonkman literally kind of sneak his nose in there a few times today. It looks like maybe just trying to get a lead on the case, or maybe get a lead on the race. Will he be able to do that? Remains to be seen, unknown. We're about to see, though, if these drivers can hang tough just a little longer. We'll have 14 laps remaining here on PTM Racing TV, folks. And remember, there are only 2 green-white checkers. That is all they get, so they cannot get away with this one so easily. They've got to stay very, very focused. Stay in the moment, stay under controls, and don't let this get over the top of their heads. Off a corner number 4 this time by our flagman, has the green in the air. He's going to wave that thing down when they get to the start zone. And the restart zone hit, master the speed, and let them run. The hard charge coming out of the gate from the 4 of Humphrey. Look at him start to move the chains in. Looking to take Lamaga down. And this is exactly what I was talking about, was if he was going to get that chance, is he going to do the maneuver? Is he going to try to make Lamaga go up closer to that wall, make him really think about this? Forcing him to get closer and closer to that wall really makes things a lot more difficult as a driver, because now it's turned into a bit of a mental practice. Do you try to race out the other driver by literally blocking and defending, or do you risk overdriving your car to stay just ahead that one extra leg of the race? Humphrey right now is definitely putting all the pressure on him. If he looks in that rearview mirror, Al Reed, maybe not so much. He's probably more happy these guys are fighting for it more than anything. You can just see how low too, that right now that 93 of Brad Yonkman gets in that car. He is getting extremely low sided onto the apron there. And again, he has to, because that's kind of how Dover works. It's really a one-line track. Yeah, there is the middle groove, but that doesn't mean you get speed from it. The bottom lane is where you get all your run and momentum from. If you hit it just right and you get some ground level position, that's what helps you out long-term distance, long-term run. Race fans, 10 laps remain now. Here and now, Reed is your top 10, is the top guy in the top one of the bunch. He refuses to quit. He refuses to stay down. Staying ahead of everything. Oh, no, 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 no. Huge wreck right behind everybody. Mike Killenbeck has crashed the car out again. Huge wreck off turn number 2 here. Big problem here, unfortunately, for the number 70 as he collides in with the 7, and it looks like the 41 of Marty Brown here. And now this is getting scary if you're a Reed fan, because now the green-white checkered territory is starting to pop its ugly head up, and that could get very difficult. Here's another look at the PTM Racing replay. Take a look at this one. This is the same issue Killenbeck struggled with a little bit ago. Even Wayne Dewey kind of getting clambered in there, just had nowhere to get out of, and oh, the 7 there just completely dashed and bashed up there. Unfortunately, nowhere to get out of. Killenbeck is struggling with turn 1 and 2, to say the least. Two more looks here. We're going to look at it from the tire wall here. See it right there? You see those tires? See how quick they just kind of jolt through and move around? That's kind of the issue you struggle with this car, man. You can't just overlay it in there. You have to stay focused and dead set on your controls, or it's going to do that to you. We'll take a look at the number 7 here of Kevin Durant here when he went into contact territory here with Mr. Killenbeck. Nice if you wanted to ever be a passenger with a 7. Here you go. Here's a good way to do it. You see the wreck just happening right there. He tried to back off, try to save it, and knew his car was in trouble already. Also doesn't help that these guys are having to work from an H-pattern shifter style car to now actually a sequential shifter. So when you saw actually what that number 7 was doing when he went, that's actually sequential shifting. So what is happening is when you pull upward, that you are actually downshifting. When you go downward, you're actually upshifting. So instead of, like, if you would say on an H pattern, you would go left. The farthest left is gear 1, farthest right is gear 5 or 6 or 4, mainly 4 with the original Gen 6, Gen 5s and below. Now you have 5 gears, but against sequential, which you could use if you're on iRacing. You just use simply the paddle controls on your wheel, or you actually get a sequential shifter and design it that way. Then that pretty much makes it a lot more tricky and a little more difficult to shift into a certain gear, a certain spot. So it's an interesting take, an interesting little style. Personally, I'm not too keen on it. I've always preferred my H patterns, but I know for a certain thing we will be calling upcoming on Fridays, there is definitely a reason why they use it there, which I'll get more into later. Now to the double file restart zone once again. Drivers engaging and preparing here for another fight, another trip down on the track here, another battle of contention and racing. Things starting to heat up. Things are going to get pretty pressurized for these drivers here. 5 laps on the restart zone. Reed knows one thing is for sure. Lomaga and Humphrey will not hesitate when he hits that throttle. He's got to set the car up in the first set of the turns. If he can get a grip and get a run out of the first 2 turns, that's all he needs. He just then needs to keep his tires underneath him and watch every single area he shifts in and shifts down on, while also maintaining a good throttle rhythm. These turns aren't going to get any easier, and this track's not going to make it any better. Watch him on this restart zone off turn number 3, looking for the green, looking for the strike, and looking for the power under the hood. He got a good start there. Now can he hold it? Lomaga right now on the bottom lane. Look at Humphrey. He forces him there. He got him on the shot. Humphrey got him in the shot. Got him in the turn on the back straightaway. But now Humphrey's got one more challenge ahead of him. Al Reed, you're all alone, buddy. You ain't got no teammates. He's going to defend the bottom. He thinks he can hold him. Is he going to hold him long enough, though? The outside seems to be with the fresh set tires. Not too bad if you ask Humphrey. Oh, but there's a little bobble there coming up number 2. Humphrey's run may have just gotten to an end because that block from the bottom. Reed knows it. So does Lomaga. And Humphrey going back down low. He's trying to cinch it in yet again. Look at him cinch the tires back in. Look at that run he got just by going back to the bottom lane. I told you earlier that outside does not work. And a big bobble by the 3 of Al Reed opens the door up yet again. Humphrey is opening up all kinds of speed and momentum. You thought right now he's taking a full shot of that Tennessee whiskey, because that thing is loaded drunk right now on speed. 2 to remain. Oh, but Killenbeck yet again, trouble down there. He'll jump in the pits. They stay green. Killenbeck does not cost this driver a race here. This is a finish and a half coming up, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up to the white flag lap off of turn number 4. White flag is out. They are dead fight even. No! No! John Humphrey gets taken to the shadow realm. It looked like he lost out turn 4. And David Lomaga and Al Reed will be left all alone. Al Reed of turn 3 into turn number 4 will be another winner. The Irishman takes this one home. Wow. John Humphrey, literally after wrecking, just got into pit road. He wasn't going to have none of it. Well, nevertheless, though, a winner was indeed crowned, but not after an incredible fight to the finish here between him, Humphrey, and Lomaga. A fight, to say the least. Al Reed comes away the victor. Yonkman to get that 3rd spot. Lomaga comes away 2nd. And Reed may have just a little bit more of an opportunity, a little bit more of a chance here when it comes playoff time, to maybe make his teammate think about this one a little bit. But before we can go ahead and show you the replay here, we're going to show you the results of this one. Al Reed to the W. David Lomaga 2nd. 3rd to Brad Yonkman. 4th to Eli Raposa. Strong showing from him today. John Humphrey goes 5th. 6th to Kevin Duran. 7th to Gene Cato. 8th to Johnny Barker. 9th to Mike Killenbeck. 10th to Marty Brown. That will round out the top 10 of the 17. But now, race fans, I think I'm just like you. I want to know what happened on that final leg of the race. We've got the cameras rolling. Actually, Eli Raposa, hold on a minute. Look at this. Came away 4th. Yeah, he just completely sidewinds that thing off turn number 2. Here's what happened to Humphrey. Right off turn. Oh. Oh. Was there contact made between him and Al Reed? Caution was not thrown because they were under the white. That is a very big situation, a very tough pill to swallow if you're the Humphrey crew. Watch this again. Watch the car coming off turn 4. No contact here. No contact. Oh, that's very close. It looks like, if you ask me, the way that car steered left and right, it looked like Humphrey had lost control of it and sent it straight down way too hard. That's what cost him here. I have that feeling, and that's what I'm going to go with my gut on. I think that's what went down there, unfortunately, and that is the worst break you can imagine as a driver to have to suffer through. Wow. Absolutely crazy and absolutely insane to say the least here. But race fans, right now we're going to go ahead and get our top 3 drivers in position right now to talk with us. But first things first, real quick, a last word to our sponsors. A big thank you again to the Joe Sixpack Podcast. Again, if you guys need your weekly news updates from the league, as well as some alts from some broadcasting and podcasting ends from broadcasters, livery designers, and folks in the racing world or iRacing in general, then be sure to check out the Joe Sixpack Podcast. They are the faces behind the races. And of course, by Greg's Lawn and Garden Care, we grow better with Greg to make sure that the world's a better place and that the grasslands and greens are just a little bit greener. So right now, folks, time to go and talk with the top 3. Joining me now first here in the top 3 right now is going to be the number 93, Brad Yonkman, comes away here at 3rd. And Yonkman, first off, congratulations on a 3rd place finisher, sir. Definitely a heck of a run and a good battle for you and your crew. You had a lot going on down the track.
That was a tough one. I actually had to use both my fast repairs in the first half of the race and sort of had to take it easy the second half.
You certainly did indeed here, and you obviously had a lot going on, a lot going at stake here. Really, but when you saw that you'd started just kind of moving up closer to the field and ended up taking 3rd, I mean, how big of a deal was that for you, knowing now you've pretty much now hit a podium?
Well, I was watching the who was leading, and Al and Dave Lamaga are up there, and that's who we're battling the points for the championship with. So I knew I had to stay up there with them. I didn't want to lose too much ground.
You certainly didn't dare at all, and you kept everything under control and in pace just long enough to survive and conquer. So let me ask you this, sir. You're going to go ahead and get a top 3 and maybe one step closer to fighting with these guys to the end of this race season. Who do you want to thank for that?
I got to thank my team and everything that goes with it, and you guys for broadcasting. Love to go back and always watch the race afterwards. And Greg for putting this whole league together. And all these guys that I race with, I mean, it's fun competition.
It really is indeed, and it was fun to watch from start to finish. Yonkman, congratulations. We will see you next week, sir.
Thanks. Take care.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Yonkman, your 3rd place finisher here today. As we now bring in your 2nd place driver here, but the points leader is going to continue that reign. Ladies and gentlemen, David Lamaga now on the scene here, coming up 2nd place today. And Lamaga, congratulations on that. Not a bad ideal for you and your teammate Al Reed, but let's talk about this race, man. Right out of the gate from that final restart, 5 to go, you were in a heated battle there with Humphrey, and things certainly got a little bit over the hump. We'll get to in a minute, but you ended up kind of pulling the charge, pulling the runs off here, and coming away 2nd. What did that mean for you and your team?
It felt good, man. It felt good. You know, since we merged as a team, you know, me and Mike and my brother and Al and Rob, you know, it's been trying to figure out how to race together as a team. And, you know, so it's the biggest thing is just racing each other clean and trying to think more outwardly. You know, although I was pushing to try to take the lead from him, but Al was so quick, and it was, you know, he's not going to make it easy to pass even if you're a teammate. So, which is what I expect, you know, so we just ran good. It felt good.
It certainly did indeed. And I would say, no, you had quite a few spots actually. You were trying to take it from him, trying to take a position in. How difficult was it though to get the thing to stick on the bottom there, considering everything seemed like it was just working your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, these cars were strange, you know, on fresh tires, they seemed, believe it or not, slow. It wasn't until I felt till you got like 5-6 laps on them that you actually started to move. So, you know, when we started getting into the run, I was just giving them looks because, you know, again, we're teammates, but at the end of the day, we're also competitors. So, you know, we're just I'm going to challenge him hard. I'm not going to make it easy, and he's not going to make it easy for me either. So, you know, as long as we're not taking each other out, because then that would be an awkward post-race conversation, you know.
I would probably say it's probably awkward time at the bar or some fish and chips with him, as he would say. But nevertheless, though, Lamaga, you're coming away second here today at Dover. So let me ask you this here, sir. Who do you want to thank you for this?
I want to thank basically my wife, as always. She's the one who suggested the Muppet Babies paint scheme this week. So, a big thank you to her for the suggestion and for the help putting it together. Then, thank my parents, my teammates, everyone who does the league, you, Christian, for broadcasting, and, everyone who shows up every weekend, as always. Thank you to the league and everyone who watches.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, David, appreciate your time here, sir. Congratulations on a second place finish. And we certainly hope to see you back here on the show, my friend.
Oh, definitely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, David Lamaga, teammate Al Reed, comes up second to him, but he certainly will not go home empty-handed with the points lead still. But ladies and gentlemen, here is the number one driver today. He will take it to victory lane. It's Al Reed here. And Al, we've already said it before, we'll say it again. The only Irishman to ever win here on PTM Racing TV. The only one that's been able to dominate as well over a consistent amount of weeks. And yet again, this performance in Dover was certainly something to behold for you, wasn't it?
Chris, you're just such a gentleman the way you speak like that. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It was good crack. It was good fun. It was good fun. That's all. It was good fun.
Good fun indeed. So let's just talk about this one little thing though. I brought it up with Lomaga. Let's bring it up with you here real quick. Turn number 3 and 4. You are in a heated battle 2 to go, coming off 3 and 4, and you got Humphrey literally breathing down your neck, and you two are side by side with each other. Did you feel like that when you came up into that corner that it could have gone right or wrong between you and him there?
No, I'm used to pressure situations like that because I used to run an F1 league, and like the guy would be behind you within like a couple of tenths. So I'm very, very used to having a car in my rearview mirror. And then when he made the move and went side by side, it was like, yep, let's go, let's have, it's a party. 2 to go or 1 to go. It's a party. Let's go.
It was certainly a party indeed, and it made for quite the show here, and unfortunately Humphrey kind of making that little mistake there, but you were able to ride the wave of success and get this one into the top spot. So Al,
yeah, what happened there with Humphreys? Did he, like, what happened there?
So on our end, looked like Humphrey had overcorrected when he was coming off that turn 4 end, which is easy to do. He basically just was too high up, and once he was too close to that wall, he didn't want to. I think he was trying to avoid taking you out and taking himself out, and instead the car did it for him.
Oh, geez.
And
Not good. But
we saw no contact, and I saw the car kind of swerving around, so we saw no contact unless some kind of glitch graphic gremlin was down there playing with something we don't know of.
No, on my rearview mirror, I just saw the car shoot to the inside, and I was like, "Oh, what happened there?" But like it's 1 to go. You're not lifting. It's full throttle the whole around the track. That's it.
That's absolutely the case. And Al, nevertheless, man, you are the race winner, and you full throttled your way to success yet again. So, what do you want to thank here tonight for the Toon Town 150?
Be Jesus. Who do I? McGuinness. No, am I joking? Greg, obviously for the league. Yourself, Chris. Good job on the stream. It's awesome to watch, and obviously share our friends. Gotta give a big thanks to my teammates as well. John, David Lomaga, 2 boys there. Mike, he was in it. He was running top 3 for a good while, and Twisco was running, I think, top 4 for a while as well until he had an instance. So the whole Elite Sim Racing team had a pretty good performance tonight, I reckon. So look, the guys keep pushing me, I keep pushing them. We're doing great.
Certainly indeed, and the more we keep pushing, the more it makes fun shows and 4 times for us here on PTM
TV. Exactly. I was going to give one more shout as well to Digital Motorsports. They were kind enough to allow me to have their logos on my car. So if anyone doesn't know, Digital Motorsports is a sim racing hardware retailer based in Ireland, based in Mondello in County Kildare, based off of a real life racetrack in Ireland, and they sell sim racing steering wheels, pedals, whatever you want. If it's sim racing, they have it, and they ship worldwide, and that's www.digitalmotorsports.com.
For sure, they're awesome to hear, awesome to see. Quite the help from them and your crew as well. Here, Reed, you're gonna come away tonight, the Toon Town 150 winner. Congratulations, sir.
Whoop whoop. See you, Chris.
See you later. Fish and chips and beer on him tonight, folks. What a time it is to be if you're in the Irish camp for Al Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, here presented in part by Joe Sixpack Podcast and Greg's Lawn and Garden Care as well. We thank you from us here at PTM Racing TV. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Coming up here in just a little while on the Facebook side of things. Pedal to the Metal Racing League's back yet again, and this time sending it on down there with the FEGPC.net 80 over Chicagoland Speedway. Stay tuned for that. Hit up our social media platforms as well as the Facebook and YouTube end and subscribe and follow us there. We appreciate you guys for everything. I'll see you very, very soon.